Hello there, fellow alumni. This is Jason Arthur here, your treasurer. And I made this video because a number of people have been asking, when we say graduation year, what are we talking about? In that regard, I think the first thing we should address is what we are not talking about. And what we are not talking about is when you left sixth form. As you well know, in Bishop's High School at least, we do not graduate in sixth form. We graduate in fifth form. Now, there may be a number of people out there who have graduations at the sixth form level. That's fine. We are not knocking that. But what we know, and what is known traditionally in schools across Trinidad and Tobago, is that your graduation year is the year you leave fifth form. So that is what we are talking about. We are talking about fifth form graduation year. And so this video is going to go through, I think, 6 scenarios that I think should cover the spectrum of all the persons who could possibly be filling out this form. So let's go with the first scenario. So in the first scenario, it's pretty simple. You started at BHS in 1970 and went straight through till you graduated in 1975. If after graduation you then left school or went further on to sixth form or repeated either fifth form, lower sixth or upper sixth, your graduation year in all of those circumstances would be 1975. Second scenario. You started BHS in 1970 but then left to go somewhere else where you may or may not have graduated. Then your graduation year is 1975. Third scenario. You started at another secondary school in 1970, then transferred into BHS and simply continued from where you were at your previous school and eventually graduated in 1975. This would mean that your graduation year is 1975. Fourth scenario. You started at another secondary school in 1970 and went on to graduate in 1975, after which you then transferred into BHS to complete your sixth form studies. If this applies to you, then your graduation year is 1975. Fifth scenario. You started at another secondary school in 1970, then transferred into BHS, and for one reason or the other, you were made to repeat the last year you completed at your previous school while in BHS, which caused you to graduate in 1976 at BHS. In that case, your graduation year would be 1976. And hopefully the last scenario. You started school elsewhere in 1970, but repeated for one reason or the next, which led you to graduate in 1976. After which, you then transferred to BHS. In a case like that, your graduation year would be 1976. It should go without saying that if you were kept back for 2 years before entering BHS, your graduation year would be 1977. So I'm hoping, or I should say we are hoping, that this covers all of the possible scenarios. And if it didn't identify your scenario specifically, hopefully whatever was covered could allow you to sort of extrapolate where you would be. The biggest thing I think for anyone to understand is we're trying to lump you with the class group that you, I don't know if the word should be matriculated, but that you went through school with. So it doesn't matter if you were elsewhere and you spent 7 years in that school. If you came in and the class group that you met was a graduating class of 1976 and you went through with them, then that's your year. Thank you very much and have a good day.